All right, we're recording. God, I missed the creepy voice. I'm nostalgic already. Anyway, hi, hello to anyone who's watching this. You're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online. It's fab. Check out gauntlet-rpg.com for kind of like the nexus of all things related to the Gauntlet, including blogs, forums. Do want to shout out actually the weekly video roundup that kind of like collates all the other APs done by, that's recorded by folks on the Gauntlet. Usually you find Band of Blades there, and lots of really cool stuff. Like Rich Rogers is doing Impulse Drive in Farscape. I I don't know anything about Farscape, but that sounds really cool. Um, all that fun stuff. You also find, the monthly zine that God does, which is Codex, which does supplements to existing games and original games itself. There's also a podcast network. You can also, if you don't want to watch a video, you can actually listen to Gauntlet APs on podcast form. I don't know the URL, but gauntlet-rpg.com is where you'll find it. I'll put the URL down on the video description if you want to stick it into your podcatcher and you get, listen to the entirety of Jim Crocker's Night Witches campaign, which wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. You want an open table, kind of akin to what we've been doing, like a long-term military campaign, deaths, deaths and military campaign. That's the main point of comparison. Except that while we were fighting against zombies, they were fighting against Nazis. All right, but the main thing that Gata does is put out a Hangouts calendar to which all these games arrange. This game is session 13 of our long-term open table campaign of Band of Blades by Strash Ashimovic and John LaBouffe Little. Again, disclaimer: I'll explain what the long and short of it is that this game is a dark military fantasy forged in the dark. If you want a better explanation of that, again, I'll refer you to the earlier sessions. If you're jumping to session 13, well, it's kind of like jumping to the season finale because this campaign has actually. Let's see if I can screen share this. Apologies, I'm in a new platform, so this is going to be weird. Yes, so for those who don't know, session 13, we've been here for a while. We started out here into Carlsberg. We've been jumping all the way from the Western Front, and we are about one advance away to the end of our goal, which is Skydagger Keep. We just have to do some little bit of business in the mall. Yeah, a lot of stuff happening in the north. It's a lot of sad stories there that we didn't go because we went down the lakes because folks were afraid of a big wolf. Not that I shouldn't disparage you for being afraid of a big, horrible, blighted wolf. It's a righteous fear to have. But yeah, session 13. And I think let's reintroduce everyone again. I don't know if people want to jump into a season finale, but some folks have been here from the start. Some folks jumped in the middle. Some folks jumped in and out. But I think everyone's been here long enough to be like just really invested in the Legion and in their struggles. So it's kind of like let's reintroduce ourselves to anyone who might be watching. So my name's Leandro. You see him pronouns. I've been running this thing since December, and God, it's been a ride. It's been a really cool ride. I'm actually gonna miss this once we're done, and like have to go back to, I don't know, going to church on Sundays. Imagine that. Not that I go to church on Sundays at 7 o'clock in the evening. That's ridiculous. No church would do that. Let's kind of go clockwise from my screen. David, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, my name's David. Use he/him pronouns. I've been playing this game with a couple of breaks since December as well. It's been great fun. I've really enjoyed sort of seeing how all the pieces fit together. My kind of the closest thing I suppose I have to a character is I've been taking on the role of the company lawkeeper, Aswina Chabati.
Yeah, and there's been some fab tales. Like in some tales, or deliberately were called upon thanks to some ruthless maneuvering, but still amazing tales. I might actually put in the link which sessions, as Vinishra Bharti has regaled the Legion with stories from their past. Up next on my screen, Brian, would you kindly like, introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Brian, he, him. I was not here at the beginning of the campaign. I came in around Westlake and took over playing the quartermaster, Violet Growing Storm. And yeah, that's about it.
I will have to shout out Brian for having one bringing up stuff that I forgot to bring up, like what the alchemists do, and like stuff we've been getting wrong at the start, like how how boosting campaign actions for certain traits does. Thanks very much, Brian, and for taking up the quartermaster role that Matt had for the very start. Jeez, we're already doing. Actually, you know what? But let's not get too misty-eyed yet. Sorry, I'm getting misty-eyed. I don't know why I'm saying that no one should, but I'm doing that. Let's save that for when we actually do the last session. But yeah, Brian has been okay. No, I just told myself to stop. But Brian's been great. There we go. Up next, what I kind of want to say is kind of like the instigator of this entire thing. Chris, would you kind of introduce yourself?
I'll claim instigator role. I think that's fine. I'm Chris. I go by he, him pronouns. I've been playing the commander, Valentina, and I've alternated between playing rookies and mainly Landgrave Farah, the Legion's literal human tank. It's been fun. I'm really glad that I'm not sure how I did it, but I'm really glad I convinced Leandro to run this thing and to try to do this extended deal. So thanks, Leandro. Thanks everybody for jumping in and effectively humoring me for this huge long run to get me to actually so that I could actually play a game of Band of Blades all the way through to the conclusion. This has been awesome.
Yeah, and sorry, so I'm getting misty-eyed again. Just remembering like messaging Chris, being like, "Hey, this I don't know if we can do the entire thing. Maybe we just do like a short quarterly or something. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. We'll play it by ear in the first month." And the first month, like, "Oh yeah, we can do this. It'll be fine. We can do this. We can keep going." And last but not the least, Dan, would you kind of introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Dan. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a technical theater educator from North Texas, and I have been playing Marshall Grave Vexing Forest, I guess, since the beginning, since December. Yeah, it's been a great game so far. I'm stoked to see what happens in Skydagger Keep.
I'm sure of nothing but merriment and laughs and joys. After all, it is the it is the final stop for this campaign. All right, so before I kind of jump into the game proper, let's talk about safety tools that we're using. I remind folks who are lines and veils down at the very bottom of the roll 20. Lines are things that won't be crossed, just won't show up in the fiction at all. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not going to concentrate on it. Like it happens off screen, or we fast forward over it, or it gets a sentence or two. That's about it. We're also using the X card. Basically, if we do roll to a scene where folks feel uncomfortable for any reason, and again, any reason is perfectly fine. In fact, you don't have to explain what it is, and no one gets to ask what the reason is. And it could be anything. It could be a name. Could be like just the tone of the scene, or even just like the entire scene itself. You can say you want to X card that either on our chat. Sorry, we're in a different platform now. There, the chat's over there now. Or you want to X card out, either make the symbol here in the video. Sorry, get burps. Or you want to say you want to X card something. I might ask some questions on what's being X carded, but no one gets a question if the card is played. If it's played, we'll respect that, and we're gonna start from scratch. And finally, we have an open table policy. Folks need to step away from the table for any reason. And again, any reason is perfectly fine. I have an emergency, or you're more tired than you thought, you need to take a break, or you just need to take a break. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we'll pause the game. It could be at any time. So feel free to shout out if you need a break. I know I've done that specifically after the spiel for various reasons. But yeah, open for anyone to like step away. Okay, so last session was a biggie. Defeated the broken. That's amazing. I think we did not dole out the what you call it, the rewards and penalties from last session at the moment. Oh my god! I just look at the last thing that was rolled. 5 dice for a fortune roll, and the highest was a 4. That's ridiculous. All right. So rewards for defeating a broken, for burying render under several tons of dead king statues. You won plus 5 morale, which you weren't really hurting for. But the most important thing is minus 3 time. So that's really good. That's damn good. You did manage to like halt basically one of the 2 wings of the Cinder King's army that's been chasing you down. So yeah, Commander, if you kindly take away those 3 ticks. I think that brings you back to the second clock, which is very good.
Unfortunately, Poniard is not unburned.
Nope. we can't undo what's happened. That means that Render's not here, but like Blighter, the things they picked up, they will stay there. They'll stay taken. But yeah, Pioneer is still burning, unfortunately. The second mission, the secondary, was the take care of why is the old tomb screaming? And I'll say right now, what I had planned for the mission is you would have run across an run of Render's Infamous, who is kind of like this thorn that has like these like shards of like glass and spikes embedded onto it, who has a craving for chosen blood. If I recall correctly, we chose to go with level 2 harm for her specialist, who went to that. So they tangled with that, but they managed to like, because it's level 4, they didn't defeat the Infamous. They managed to drive it away. But you do get the rewards, which is minus 1 time. Hey, more time lost, or more time gained, I guess. And plus 3 XP to all participants, which remind me, Marshall, which squad did we send along for that? So I think it says, yeah, all participants, including the squad.
If I remember correctly, it was the Grinning Ravens. I could be wrong in that. Let me see.
Yeah, it was the Grinning Ravens because Zaya was so close to promoting.
Yeah, we've got Zaya and Karoj went along so that we had a party that was entirely specialists and soldiers, basically.
Oh yeah, it was just those 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh yeah, I see you already added 3 XP to their sheets. Damn, you've had a damn fine Marshall this entire campaign. It's been amazing. Imagine having to do this IRL with all these sheets. God. Yeah. But the mission you didn't do is the Sable Arrow making an alliance with the Pale Crawlers. So the penalty there is plus 1 pressure and plus 2 deaths. So yeah, you've lost 2 more. I mean, imagine these are like attacks from the Pale Crawlers, who we kind of describe as these like, the denizens of the maw. They really like their poisons. And the Sable Arrow, Xenia herself is still out there. Sorry, my lights here again. Who knows? I don't know anything about that. Yeah, so record 2 deaths and plus 1 pressure. Thankfully, that damn flag has been saving you from losing morale from any deaths, which is amazing and ridiculous. Clearly, I should have upped the mortality stakes once you got that flag, because I didn't realize how much more I got from that. Jesus Christ. Up to 5 deaths. God, it's ridiculous. All right. So let's do. So like I said, we let's do a short let's still do like a short back at camp. Let's still go through the procedure. So Lord Keeper, is there any is there any framing you're interested in?
Yeah, so the one that I was kind of saving for this one is that after an undead attack, the Legion must break camp and relocate. So I imagine that the Legion was expecting to have to be fairly mobile getting from the moor to Skydagger Keep, but I think we've been harried even harder than we expected. Barely had time to kind of stop and rest along the route. So yeah, I think maybe just this might be a good opportunity for just like a quick like frame the scene type setup with some images. What I imagine, in fact, so I guess I'll start by doing that, and I think I'll go kind of very very high level, and say that sort of we've kind of got out of the moor, and I think we've literally been kind of sleeping in ditches, with maybe with a bit of canvas over as a sort of bivouac, but that's as close to setting up camp as we've got since leaving the moor. And there's been yet another raid of well, probably at this point mostly Blighter's forces that we've kind of fought off, but we've kind of we know that we've got to keep moving, and we sort of press on, eating on the move, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Is there anything anyone else wants to add, like any characters that being there? Is this where we lost our 2 legionnaires when the attack happened and we had to like break camp?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Can I ask? This might start. I might start with the marshal, but like, ask this to anyone. These 2 legionnaires, where are they from? Are they from the batch we picked up at Westlake? Are they the recruits we got from when we saved those necromancers' assets? Or are they the ones we got from Fort Callisto? Or are they original? It's been there since Ettenmark Fields.
Oh man, it's tempting to say they are some of the originals. Yeah, I think they've been with us this whole time. Let's say one has been with us this whole time, and one is a recent pickup from Fort Callisto.
Probably like one of them has been like in a squad this whole time, and then another's like a replacement in that squad. And you know how it is to get called out. I'm imagining like they're if this was like a proper war story, if they were centered around that, if this was like Band of Brothers, they'd have an entire episode dedicated to them, and we'd think that like, oh man, yeah, we'd lose the rookie, but like this senior person who's been in the Ettenmark Field this whole time, it will would like survive to get to it. But no, they probably got hit like a poison arrow or something, and kind of like lingers on for the rest of the episode until the end of the episode. Sorry, I just finished watching Band of Brothers again. It's on my mind. Yeah, so anything I want to add to like this retreat? Because it kind of feels like everyone knows Skydagger Keep is so close. That's why they're like, once Blighter kind of like sent her squad to her troops, everyone's just kind of like breaking out of this this encampment. But yeah, what other details people want to add?
I think like after we set up the new camp, I think you see like a bunch of the rookies like tend to congregate, like people from multiple squads will like congregate to just like play games of dice, or do like simple games that you can do without too much setup, like throwing dice, maybe playing a quick hand of cards or something like that. And you see folks that kind of set up, and you see these groups gather, and like for 2 of the groups, like each of them is obviously like painfully obviously one short. Like there's a space there, and like it's pointedly empty, and the rest of them just aren't, occasionally glance over there, but nobody actually really looks hard at it. But there's like an empty space at each of those 2 tables that nobody's willing to come in and fill right now, because it's still the presence is still there.
For some reason, I was tempted to break out in song. Damn you, Les Miserables. Sorry, only Dan smiled at that. I'm sorry, but Brian, is there anything you want to add to this retreat? Well, not retreat, but like this movement. And it's fine if like there's nothing else you want to add. Just wanna...
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. I think one of the parts of this area is horses don't help. So I think there's a lot of like people like having to do a lot of work to like help our horses like actually make it through here, and that's like you see a lot of like sections of cave that like the horses have to get strung single file and put through one by one. And moments where like the horses are kind of close to panic. They're not enjoying this, and everyone just kind of has to stop and while we wait for the horses to just like calm down, and then we can like keep going. And meanwhile, everyone's just like, "Come on, horses! Like the longer we're here, the more dangerous it is. Like just keep it together."
Yeah, it turns out those pretty far mains aren't much use in a mountain pass. They're great out for those fields where you got them. Okay.
So keep it together. We may need to eat you when we're under siege.
Oh my God.
We need you to make it through.
Oh my God. All right. Okay. That sounds like good. Is anything else anyone to add, or do we like move on from this? I know we got like more scenes. We can see at Skydagger Keep. So yeah, I think we should move on. Okay, let's go to the campaign phase summary. So time passes. Time and pressure and commander roll book increased by 1 each. Okay, that's good. How's our pressure doing, commander?
We're at 2 pressure right now.
Cool. And time is pretty good. And don't worry, if that cock fills up again, Render and Blighter are not going to gain any more new abilities. I'm actually not sure what happens to Render's abilities, actually. His troops can still be around, but he himself won't be around. I guess that's the main thing. Cool. Quartermaster, I'm going to spend 1 food use to feed the Legion, or the Legion loses 2 morale. Still good for food?
Yes, we will feed the Legion.
Hell yeah. Lord Keeper, have we had enough deaths yet? We've only had 2, so...
Yeah, I do need to record those 2 we've just had, but yeah, we don't have we've not hit the next story.
Cool. Which is like the funny thing with the Lord Keeper stuff is like it's probably good that we don't get to the end, but at the same time, you get cool stuff. You get really cool stuff with that. It's a terrible balance. All right, so campaign actions. Let's go to our quartermaster.
So, we've got an interesting decision here. We've got 2 campaign actions because we're at high morale, but we have no supplies, so that's it. That's all we're going to get. These are basically the last campaign actions of the game. We have some injuries, so we are definitely going to rest and recuperate with at least 1 of them. But we've got what do we have? We have basically let's see. I think among the soldiers and rookies, we only really need 1 rest and recuperate because one of the let's see. I'm gonna use names. Karoj, how do you pronounce that name? Karoj Dewa?
Mm-hmm.
already has 1 tick on their level 2 wound, so that'd be enough to heal them. And then the other is Cyprian, is a noble and could boost the healing action to completely heal their broken rib. But our 3 injured specialists don't have any ticks on their level 2, and none of them are noble. So we have a mercy who could give a 2nd tick to one of them, but if we only rest and recuperate once, 2 of them will still have a level 2 wound going into these final missions. But if we use both of our rest and recuperations, then that's it. We're not going to relieve any stress right now. I think everyone who is really stressed out doesn't have any traumas and is at least a soldier and can take 2 traumas before they're gone. So in theory, they could trauma out on this final mission, be out for a scene, and then, hey, have a full new stack of trauma. And in theory, that's as long as they trauma out in a place where they're with their team and they're not just like off on their own behind enemy lines or something. That's not the worst thing in the world. So two level 2 injury, 2 specialists with a level 2 injury, or and everyone's really stressed, or we could relieve a little bit of stress off of everybody and keep those 2 injuries. Thoughts?
The stress, if I recorded this right on the Marshall sheet, it looks like the stress is pretty concentrated on like one group of soldiers. I don't see any specialists with anything greater than 3 stress, which is pretty reasonable. Yeah, and I think we could. Yeah, I'm all for. I'm all for double rest and recuperation. Yeah, we do have some banged up folks,
and the injuries really hose you in general. So getting rid of those is probably a good call.
The only, let's see, if they have those like things that give you potency or whatever when you're injured, then that would maybe mitigate it. But I don't know that.
I think the only one that has one of those is Farah, and she's not that injured. So
yeah. So who are they? Let's see, Nullslav, and then I don't think any of them have any of that stuff. Nope. No. Okay. All right, then we will. What's it called? Rest and recuperate. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Twice.
Okay. So when you rest and recuperate, let me actually this action.
And we don't really need to use the mercy, I guess. So we won't. At some point.
So yeah, each legionnaire may mark a tick in any harm row. Once the row's healing ticks are full, you erase both the ticks and all injuries in that row. Yeah. And yeah, the injuries are because the way trauma works in here is like a scene to recover if you're not behind enemy lines. Otherwise, you might need to be recovered. And yeah, people with the most stress are the silver stags. Theonin should be a bit up because we used him a lot for assists. He's actually at 5 stress. So those 3 are well stressed out. So what happens when you take them into 2 cave diving adventures in a row. All right, so yeah, let's heal up then. Yeah, that would really help because I can notice like Araya has had 2 partial success level 2 harm. It's not great. Okay, I think that's it for campaign actions. All right, Commander, are we advancing? And if you say no, I'm gonna cry because then I have to take 10 minutes to prepare missions for them all.
No, we're gonna advance. I said that last time.
Okay, cool. All right. Yes. So when we advance, The commander will roll pressure to see how much time they accumulate. You cannot spend, horses do not reduce pressure when advancing from the maw, but we still have that project, that hideously useful map making project that reduces pressure by 1. So,
Okay,
yeah.
so I'll reduce pressure by 1 and then roll, and we'll see how things go.
Yeah. You can't crit, so thankfully.
Okay,
That's
so
2
I
dice.
add 3. So it looks like I add 3. Oh wait, did it still roll 2?
Yeah, roll
right.
2.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can get that to work.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
still,
still a 6.
but basically, it still doesn't really hurt us because, like, we'd lost so many on those 2 last mission rewards that it puts us back where we would have been if we hadn't done those 2 missions. So we're
So
still not bad.
basically, yeah. So basically, you lost, including the stuff, the time you lost. You lost 1 time, basically, which is great. All right. So would you kindly move the dagger thing or the sword icon onto Skydagger Keep, Commander?
Well,
Yep. All right. So Skydagger Keep. It's named after its tall spire jutting out into the sky. Its walls guard the only pass through the West Wall Mountains. It is the only thing standing between the broken hordes in Aldermark and passage into Barta in the Eastern Kingdoms. The Legion has few precious hours before the bulk of the undead bring their numbers to bear. Hours that must be spent readying the old, unused keep to hold a sizable force amidst the bitter, biting cold. The keep has some alright tricks, bolstering its old but solid Barton construction. Pipes carry hot water through the walls, and walkways inside the walls provide movement even when early snows bury the gates and the walls above. Windows hiding under eaves provide a crisp view of the approaching enemies. Vantage points high up give good angle for siege weapons, for those brave enough to endure the cold to use them. It's a good bastion, but the undead are many, and tireless, and driven by unholy power. So, you know how usually when we move to a new place, I ask each of you like a detail of the Legion as it moves. This is where I said we're kind of expanding that. Let's do we can still do details if you want, but like if you want to like frame a scene, I want each of you to get a chance to like get some spotlight into some characters and their thoughts, and even if it's like you just want to narrate what they're thinking, and if anyone wants to talk to the Chosen as well, because she's still there, she's finally recovered from her fight with Blighter. So give you a minute to think about what you want to see while I very quickly screen cap this picture of Skydagger Keep from the book. Pop it in.
Speaking of the Chosen, we need to give her one favor for that.
Oh yeah,
mission. That's the one reward we haven't marked. I just put it on.
Cool. No worries.
Not that matters. We're still one away from an actual ability.
Yeah.
We earned it. We should mark it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You earned it. Yeah. Where did that window go? Oh. I'm saying I lost the window. There it is. So yeah, I'll give you a moment to think about like what you want to see when the Legion kind of like rolls into like this old kind of like unused fort. It's a Legion, it's an Aldermark fortification, but like it's not really like nobody's used it because it's the Legions. So yeah, I'll have to upload a bunch of pictures to roll 20. Actually, let's clean this up a bit. Let's do the usual detail of the Legion, and then we can go into like what scenes you want to see. Is that okay? Sorry, I'm flip-flopping a bit here. I just want to get the texture right. So yeah, usually when we move into a new place, we get like a short detail of how the Legion's feeling and demeanor, how they're moving into this place. Let's do that first, and then we can jump into like, is there any like kind of like back at camp sort style scenes you want to see before we dive right in. Cool. So yeah, what's the detail of as they move away from the horrible darkness of the maw into bright, cold sunlight? It's winter, or it's fall. but you're up in the mountains, so it might as well be winter. It's not full winter yet. Ugh.
I think there's a general move among the rank and file to dig out whatever winter clothes they have. They're moving from a clammy coldness of the maw to the bitter, windy coldness of a high altitude. And yeah, I think even just moving into the sunlight, saying this is lovely, happy to be in the sun, and then a gust of breeze will hit a soldier, and they'll say, "Okay, need to get covered up." So I think there is a bit of a move through the ranks of that.
And I think as people approach and enter the keep, obviously people are entering cautiously, keeping an eye out in case there's, an ambush waiting here for them. But once they realize it's clear, there's that just moment of not exactly relaxation, but just that you can just sort of palpably feel that, like, just a bit of tension just dropping off everyone, as this is the first time for like a couple of weeks where they have solid walls between them and the enemy.
Yeah, it's not like Fort Callisto where you're pretty well surrounded by the enemy. Not yet, anyway.
I think you're also seeing is like everybody's sort of bundling up, and everybody sort of looks up, and you can see as they're marching forward, like they can look up and see where Skydagger Keep is, where that central tower is sort of jutting up. I think you see them all like sort of, look at each other, and like there's some sort of backslapping and in general happiness, like we made it, we made it out of the maw. We left Render in there behind us. Like we've made it to where we need to be. And then there's then the sort of backhand of that comes around as everybody realizes this, this is it. Like this is, there's nowhere else to go after this. Like we're here, and at least one of the broken is still coming straight at us, and this is there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere else to run. There's nowhere else to run now. So it's like we made it, but we made it up here. We made it this far, but like we're at the end of the line, and there's no way down. There's no easy way down off this mountain. We're here, and we made it, and we're kind of safe, but we're also cornered a little bit. So,
yeah. Probably looking at this picture of Skydagger Keep, it is a bit smaller than I expected, for sure. It does feel like, yeah, there's one big tower. I mean, it's a keep, I guess. It's not really a castle. Good luck.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what that long spanning wall was really for. If the keep is just that little bit there in the middle, I'm thinking maybe it was meant to. They were thinking it was going to be bigger, but
yeah. Let me screen share this for folks. Yeah, that's a picture of Skydagger Keep in the book. Pop down there. Yeah. Good luck mounting a defense from that. But if anyone can do it, it's probably the Legion. Yeah, it is. It does feel like it is just that structure and that curtain wall, for sure.
no, it does seem like there's like at least one other camp area or campfire behind that wall, back there in that corner. But like I can't see where anything else would be.
God. Well, good luck. Be fine. Brian, were you gonna say something? You add your statement.
I have two thoughts. One, I think as we're filing in, some of the rookies are set with the task of burning the corpses of a small band of refugees who somehow against all odds got here ahead of the Legion, but too early while we weren't here, and we're just stuck outside and froze to death out here. And the other thought is that this place was like locked up, so I imagine like either like our scout or our sniper had to like climb the wall to like. There's some spot where you're set to like somehow get in and then let everyone else in. Yeah, so that was probably like the first thing that had to happen is someone had to send a grappling hook or whatever into whatever little spot that's designed for that to get in, and then actually open it up and let everyone in.
Cool. All right. So before we do like big, actually no, let's do like what I propose before we look at the missions. Or do you want to look at the missions so we can properly flavor what y'all want to see beforehand, and to give the marshal time to think of who to go on what mission?
I mean, I think it would help to like go through the missions just so we kind of know like what everybody is having to look down the barrel of as they're getting ready.
Okay, so there's some confusion here in the text. The first paragraph says there are 6 objectives, and then other mission says there are 5 objectives that be completed. We're just gonna go with the ones listed here. There are 5 objectives that need to be completed for the
I think
final
the sixth is the last wave, probably.
Oh yeah, but the thing is that's a roll, so I'm not sure what objectives need to be completed. But yeah, so the objectives that need to be completed for the keep can hold against the undead during the winter months. Most of these play out as a series of short one-obstacle missions. Each mission occurs at approximately the same time, so specialists and squads can only be assigned to one mission each. The commander is going to decide what order the missions will be played out. The marshal determines who is assigned to which, and the quartermaster decides what resources are assigned to each task. The first one is, okay, so if you skip it or fail any of these, tremendous risk will make it almost impossible to keep the Eastern Kingdoms from being overrun. So the fun thing is, like, even though like this kind of like this big campaign kind of takes up like a good chunk of like the last half of the book, this is only kind of like the beginning. It's kind of like how they see it. Like obviously we're gonna end our campaign here, but there's a score. The final scoring kind of determines how well the Legion is like for the next campaign, which I'm not sure what that scope is, where you create your own new campaign or they're going to release another one.
I think the plan is eventually to release. I think there's going to be 2 more, is the theory. I think one where you're actually holding the keep, and then one where you're like trying to recruit the army to actually defeat the Cinder King among the kingdoms that are like still intact on the other side of this keep.
Ooh. I'll keep my eyes out for that. We might come back to this in some months or so. That'll be interesting. Anyway, so the missions. There's no required order to complete them, but it's recommended that the Legion tackle them in the order presented below. So the first one is reinforce the ramparts and gates. Skydagger has not been maintained in decades. It's never been really besieged, and this is not like this is a 10-segment long-term project, and you assign a specialist and a squad to it. So there's going to be at least one specialist who's going to have to like do this. And you roll once before each other mission, and you add 1 die to each roll for each labor squad the Legion has. So basically, there's going to be one specialist who's going to have to look after the squad reinforcing the gates, and we're going to roll this in between missions. Next one is hold the lower pass. 1 squad and up to 3 specialists must hold the pass. If they manage to hold off 3 enemy units in an infamous, the mission is complete. This counts as an assault mission. If any broken has been defeated already, you need not do this mission. Although, as Brian pointed out, if you can take out an infamous, that means less demerits to the final wave roll, because each infamous still alive adds a -1 die. So you don't have to do this because you defeated Redder, but you might want to, because it explicitly says an infamous is going to be part of that. And it's an assault mission. Next one is stop the main force. Assign 1 squad and 2 specialists to a dangerous recon mission that involves climbing the mountain passes and evading undead patrols. The objective is to start an avalanche to stall and stagger the main undead force. So a recon mission, just think of like who might add benefits to that, like our Panyar folks will definitely add to that. Next one is assemble the siege weapons. There are a few underground routes to siege weapon positions on the cliffs above. Nobody knows if the undead has sent more nimble units to reach them over land, or what might be nesting amidst the tunnels. Assign 1 squad and 2 specialists to the supply mission. Take 1+1 die to the engagement roll if the Legion has siege weapons. Otherwise, you must repair the old unused ones on the cliffs. Fun times. So you go into more tunnels. So that's going to be fun. And the last one is hold the second wave. This is going to be like straight up fight a lieutenant and its undead at the walls. Your chosen will take the field. So I'll make a 10 clock for the chosen lieutenant as they clash. The undead will attempt to scale the walls and get in. If the ramparts and gates mission is complete, add 1 die to your engagement roll. So we are going to roll engagement rolls for all of these. You assign 1 unit and up to 3 specialists. So those are the missions. Those are the stakes. Now that we kind of like have like a good picture of that, actually, we reached the top of the hour. So I'll give you time to like, let's take like a good size, like 10-minute break. Give you time to think of what scenes you want to see before we jump into like assigning who the hell goes to what mission. So yeah, good 10 minutes. Is that okay with folks? Cool. All right. So I'm going to pause this recording. Oh, it's going to be amazing. I don't have to put on the music. I'm going to miss the music. But yeah, let's pause and come back in 10. We'll come back with some last back at camp scenes for the Legion. BRB. All right. Welcome back to the beginning of the end for our Band of Blades campaign. So do a quick check-in. Folks doing okay? Are folks feeling? Cool. All right. So let's let's take a moment to like we've done a lot of like, you know, upkeep and looking through stuff and logistics and statistics and whatnot. But yeah, let's take a moment to like breathe and let's zoom in on some scenes of the Legion, whether it's the command staff, the rookies, the laborers, or even any interactions chosen. Let's zoom in on as they kind of prepare to like hold back the tide in a decisive manner for to try to secure the fate of all the Eastern kingdoms. Yes, I don't have an idea of like where they want to zoom in.
I've been trying to shoehorn this in at some point. I think Raya Arani is getting a tattoo of the healer's mark. She never got it when she was working as a healer full time, and I think this is a good point for her to for someone with an ability and some ink and I guess I don't know, man, some pins and razors to apply that. And yeah, seems like maybe Valeria would be an appropriate artist to do that. It seems like it would be something that since they're a medic, may as well.
Yeah. And I will ask, like, just so we can get through this in a timely fashion, each scene should only involve like 2 players, if that's okay. Just to make it like just a bit more quick and a bit more intimate. So who would want to like play Valeria in this? The 2 medics. Just talking about it for you.
I've played Valeria a couple times.
Cool. So what's the healer's mark between the 2 of you? What do you think it looks like?
I think I believe there's a Barton god of healing, and I think it might be some iteration of that god's like insignia, their common mark, maybe with a little kind of flair. I don't know.
Yeah, if you had chosen Shreya, she is a chosen of the Barton Heater goddess, but she's not here.
I'm like trying to find. I'm trying to find what the description in the book is, and I'm not. That's not what I want.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You can just make something of you think you can, but like it's fine. We don't need to like get too hung up on this.
Here it is. Those physicians who take the oath of healing and mercy seek no harm to any person, turn away no patient, give mercy to those who cannot be saved. At a temple of to Askira are branded with a sigil of folded wings. Such a symbol is universally recognized as a medic's mark, and villagers and strangers will provide courtesy and passage to those branded when they wouldn't otherwise. That's what the book says.
Sweet.
All sounds good. I'm sure there's variations on it, but yeah. Sigil of folded wings.
So yeah. So I think we can like come into the scene as like Raya's already like in the middle of like being inked. Where is the mark being made, Raya?
Let's say on the, see here, she's practical. She probably wanted to be like easily shown off. So let's say on the collarbone. I think that makes sense. Like, here's that. Yeah, and it's unexpectedly intimate because that's two people like face to face for an hour at least. Yeah, so I think I tried to find a as sanitary an environment as I could for this, and this is this is unfortunately the best I could find. So let's keep that candle lit and be sure to sterilize the needle every so often.
Yeah. Is there anything either of you say to like try to, because like like once this like tattoo is done, and like you're gonna be like shipping out or whatever. I mean, imagine like all these scenes are kind of like happen simultaneously as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Valeria understands the urge to get this mark and dedicate yourself in this way, but at the same time, like, would in no way be ready to like make that same oath, because like these aren't times when I'm gonna like say I'm never gonna bring harm to anyone, because there's some people who need harm brought to them. They're, we've met, we haven't just been fighting the undead. There are traitors out there who are serving the undead, and damn well gonna bring harm to them when I get a chance. But some respect to, to your dedication to healing. This will be as close. This will be as close as Valeria will be to making that oath, is to putting that tattoo on her.
Yeah. Is there anything Raya wanted to say?
No, I'm happy to cut the scene there. I think we can zoom out, pan out.
Cool. All right. So that's kind of like your scene, Dan. What about the turn to like David or Chris? Is there anything you want to zoom in? Could be the command stuff. So, go ahead.
Well, I think I've got. I'd like to see like the commander, Valentina, and the Chosen kind of talking about how they're going to confront this last battle, like kind of mapping out, okay, this is where we think this main force is going to come up. This is where we expect Blighter to come through. These are the measures that we're going to try and put in place, and like she's pointing at the various points on this map, because we did have that map project, so we've got a very detailed map of the area around Skydagger and how our defenses stack up in each zone, and the main approach that pretty much any large force has to take. I think for our purposes, maybe we think, okay, we've dealt with the maw, like that approach is gone. So they've got to come up that main thoroughfare straight up to Skydagger. And here's all the ways that we can mess with them on the way. Here's where the rock slide is would be best to hit them with, because there's a bottleneck here, and and I think whereas our Chosen had been maybe recovering before and was really reticent and quiet when we were in the maw, I think she's as out here in the sunlight, like she's started to recover a little bit to get maybe more of her energy back. And she's actually participating in the discussion as opposed to sort of standing back and just sort of watching like she had been doing before. Like she's actually like saying, well, okay, I see this here. And, and she's talking about how like she can use her various, forms to scout different areas and keep watches and things like that, and do things that will, kind of help, but keep her in the background so that she's ready to engage, engage the second wave when they come up.
Yeah, I think there's like a moment. Sorry if I've taken control of the chosen too much, but I think there's like a moment where like what's kind of like everyone has a like respite to like, all right, got like an hour to like just get some food, get like a couple minutes of sleep. This is probably when the tattooings happen. I think there's probably like a moment, yeah, where Commander and Chosen are alone, and they've had their ups and downs in their relationship. And I think like you're probably at the top of Skydagger Keep, looking down on the expanse, and you can see from the distance like there are fumes climbing up the high road. Like Blighter is not being very subtle that she's coming. It's like these the weird ashy purple gray haze climbing up. And I think the Chosen's kind of like looking out there, and she just kind of like says, just straight up asks, Commander, if you don't mind me asking, what is it that fuels you at this moment?
I couldn't quite hear that, Leandro. What?
What is it that fuels you at this moment, Commander?
Here, now, at the end, resolve. There's nothing else to do. Like, there's no other path for us to take. We have placed ourselves here, right in their path. We have struggled this entire season to get here. And at the last, finally, instead of running, it's time to engage.
Do you truly think this is the end, Commander?
It's an end, hopefully not the end.
I would hope so. And I think like you feel the wind kind of like comes a bit, and you actually see her like shiver, and you see like for a moment she's not like this mysterious ethereal Chosen. You see okay, and you see at this moment she's way younger probably than she's looked at any moment. And she says like, for the longest time what's fueled me is the idea of vengeance, Commander. They took so much from me, and when a chance to take it back was given to me by the Horned One, I took it, and I've been here ever since. Seeing what your Legion has done, seeing how they've struggled together, seeing how you struggled together, it was calming to know there are other reasons to fight beyond simple loss. This may be an end, Commander, but I would very like to see you and everyone else at the next beginning. And I think like she kind of like, oh, go ahead.
I think the commander nods and says, I think we'd all kind of like to see you too after this. So be careful out there. We've we've engaged one broken, but it took like all of our best people to do it, and literally caving in part of a mountain. So
I think like she actually like smiles at that. And again, when was it? I've never described her as smiling, I think.
But no, she's always sort of brooded in the background so far.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you lost the entire forest and Panya is burning. But she actually like smiles at that. She says like, Blighter may be a frenzied child engaging in a gigantic tantrum, but I know not to underestimate her, Commander. We will do our best. I've seen the Legion do their best. And I'm confident we'll make it through the end. And I think she kind of like stands out the window and she's about to leave. But before she kind of go, and she says like, Commander Sashanovich, my name is Silver Dancing Moonlight. And I hope to see you soon. And she kind of like falls out the window and you hear like the flap of mighty wings going forth.
And I think the commander like steps to the window and like gives that sort of chest thumping Legion salute that as she flies off.
Hell yeah. All right, I can cut that scene there. David, what do you want to zoom into?
Yeah, so I think the scene I'd actually like to see is one with the lawkeeper with I think one of the more scholarly inclined soldiers, if someone wants to jump in with soldier rookie, whatever. If someone wants to jump in with one of those, if not, I'm happy to just kind of vignette it out.
When you say scholarly, okay, I thought you said scullery. I was like, oh wait, are they like people work in kitchens? Oh, scholarly, okay. We have a scholar. We got Cyprian, who did kind of have a bit of an existential god crisis last time we saw him.
I think Rashi and maybe Karaj. I think those are the other two that have that educated talent. But there may be some other ones who are good at research.
Yeah. Does anyone want to like jump in and talk to the Lord Keeper? With either Rashi or Karaj or who else? Let's see. Yeah, Cyprian.
I mean, I'll be happy to jump in with Rashi if no one else wants to jump in there.
Okay.
That's cool. So yeah, I think this is kind of in one of the small rooms, probably towards the top of the tower. And I think that this room was like clearly a library at one point. And I think there are still some records and stuff here, though probably not in great condition. And I think as Rashi enters, Serena turns around and says, I'm glad you could come, dear child. Please come in. And I think for the first time we see Serena, she's out of her sort of kind of the usual sort of like flowing robes that she wears, and she's wearing her old Legion uniform. And there's a stack of like journals and the like on the table in front of her. And she's just in fact finishing like folding her robes up and placing them into a chest. You have lived through this campaign with the Legion, and what do you think you have learned from all of this?
I think Rashi is like, he's coming in, when he first came in, like he was like adjusting his spectacles because he's he does that as a fidgety thing. And then he sees like the lore keeper putting on their Legion uniform, and this is, I think, probably the first time he's literally ever seen the lore keeper in a full Legion uniform. Most of the time, I think we've seen them in like the robes of office kind of thing. And so I think he's a little taken aback by that, and so he pauses for like an awkward silence kind of thing. And then I think maybe maybe the lore keeper has to like look back at him to kind of jumpstart him to talk. And he sort of takes off the spectacles and starts to sort of clean them with like a little handkerchief or a cloth. And he says, "Well, I've learned so much." And you see him like start to like reach down to his little notebook, which you've seen him scribbling and scrawling in throughout these things for everything from like the Heartless to the fire mains. Like he sketched and written up notes about everything. And he starts to reach down from that, reach to that, and he sort of opens it. And then he sort of closes it again, and he says, I think there's been I've accumulated a lot of knowledge. I've written notes. I've made sketches. I helped in the map project. I have learned so much, and but what I've really had to confront is that like all of that, all of the things I've learned about are just sort of falling away. Like they've burned and they've been burned and corrupted behind us. Like we can still see the fire from the places where we've left. We can still see that dirty purple mist over the forest that we had to bypass. I mean, what I've learned is it's fleeting, and the only way I can make that knowledge still worth something, still worth having is we've got to win.
Yes, very good. As you say, everything is malleable. Nothing stays the same. But we need to link back to what has gone before us. And she sort of taps the journals on the desk in front of her. It is my duty to record these things, but and she'll sort of gesture towards Rashi. I, of course, am not the only one who does this. It is important for the Legion that there is continuity of the knowledge that we hold. And she's kind of like loading pistols and sort of slipping them into her belt as she says this. She says, "Well, child, I had always hoped that one day my bones would lie beneath Skydagger Keep, and I think that may be the case, but I do not plan on going quietly. The records that we keep must go on, though. If we survive this day, I need to know that there will be others who will carry this work forward."
And I think Rashi sort of like he almost takes a step back, like almost like you've sort of like dropped like a huge weight at his right before his feet, and he's sort of maybe a little frightened by it. And he like takes a deep breath and he steps forward and says, "It will be. And it's not just me. Cyprian, Karaj, just the other, several other of the Star Vipers. We've all been making notes too and trying to remember what we've done. and
Good.
we will if if this is where your role ends, we will pick it. We will pick up the pen.
Good. I am glad to know that the legacy of the Legion lies in good hands. Now let's try and make sure that some of us live through this.
And I think he like nods solemnly and fidgets with his glasses a little bit more before he slips them back on and follows you out.
Hell yeah. All right, I think that leaves Brian. I do have an idea for a scene for myself, but Brian, do you have an idea of what you want to zoom in, what vignette or scene you want to see?
Oh, I definitely think we see our quartermaster storing everything away. We've got a little some of everything left for to hold the siege. So yeah, just overseeing the stacking of the black shot and the religious supplies and the food stores and in whatever secure corner of the keep. Just a bit of satisfaction that, okay, now it's about making all this last, making it stretch.
Okay. You happy with just describing that?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. I do have an idea, but this depends on some XP. Brian mentioned in the chat, but we do have one soldier who is ready to become a specialist, to become a heavy. I kind of want to see that on screen and it makes sense for Zaya to be the first because one, before the end of this campaign, I would like to see a soldier become a specialist, and it'll make things easier because we have another specialist to distribute amongst the missions. And two, it'd just be nice to have Zaya, who was the first rookie to become a soldier, to be the one.
And three, it will really, really mess with Theonin.
He spent all that stress and didn't gain any XP. And yes, it's always good to miss. We've been giving Theonin too much. We've given him too much. Need to give to others. So it is okay if we get and it's probably a really special occasion, we get an initiation, like a promotion scene for Zaya. And instead of describing it, let's do the thing where let's have everyone add a detail or paint the scene. I guess we just start with I'm imagining that this is in this promotion scene initiation. It is kind of in some sort of great hall or probably it's a big enough place where almost all the Legion can be there. All that's left. That's the only idea kind of I had, because I don't want to be the one to describe what Zaya is feeling or looking like. I'll leave that up to you. Ooh, the big courtyard. Yeah, that's good. It's out in the open. It's a bit cold, but nobody cares because this is a momentous occasion. Yeah. I kind of want to start with David because you're the one who created Zaya. Or do you want to end with that? With how Zaya's feeling and what she's doing? And
I already have kind of an idea for a thing, so I'm happy to go in first, or I can wait to the end. But yeah, no, I'm happy to go in first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, I think that that Zaya is saying kind of her oath before the before the commander, and being a Zenyatta, she obviously has to seal this oath in blood, and I think kind of see her. She pulls out her sort of her knife that she uses for this sort of thing. And you see sort of a moment where she kind of looks down at her hand, where, as it was mentioned before, there's already a few cuts where it's obviously made oaths before. but she kind of looks at her hand for a moment and looks sort of towards the wall, and is like, yeah, I probably can't really afford to have my my hand out of action at the minute. And she makes a cut down her cheek.
Hell yeah. What's a detail like anyone else wants to add? Like anything from the command staff or like from the General Legion?
I think I think maybe the commander has the other like the current like I guess the current like main heavy, which I think is Farah. They're like the maybe the two linchpins of the ceremony, like as far as like the induction, I guess, to the ranks as a full specialist. So I think those two are kind of bookending the ceremony. A little bit like the commander sort of takes up the main stage portion of it, and I think Farah would be the one to do the presentation, especially since I think we had that scene earlier on where Farah like went participated with Zaya in like her promotion to soldier. So I think that makes a lot of like narrative sense to have Farah sort of like presenting effectively Zaya for the next promotion. Like maybe like marching up to the stage and doing like an announcement to the commander or something like that, saying commander, we have a new whatever our real term for heavy is. I'm sure they don't just call him a heavy, like maybe a title or something like that that the Legion would give to Zaya as part of the promotion, and have the commander like ritually accept that. And I don't know what other like fanfare it might involve, but I like kind of like those two definitely like being part of that ceremony.
I checked some of the. I know. I remember in the supplement here, like not notes, but like they do like these little vignettes in the book. I checked. I remember there was a promotion scene. Yeah, they do just call it a heavy. Yeah, there's a note here from all these notes. I watch a fellow alright become a heavy today. Well, there you go. Practical sorts, the Legion. Yeah, Farah and Zaya have been through a lot. Zaya took an explosion to the face. I remember that. Dan, Brian, is there anything else you want to add?
I think maybe Karaj and the other grinning ravens present Zaya with a fine heavy suit of armor that they had somehow maybe put enough money or materials together to have made or bought certain pieces of, and that is sort of a after ceremony. Here you go.
Yeah, like that. Definitely, like some kind of mark that. All right, you're not a grinning raven anymore, but you'll always be. We know where you came from, for sure. And I think that the officer is also a Zemyati, so I think he probably also has a moment as some part of the ceremony. Maybe actually, whatever the rank insignia or something, pinning that on, or whatever that part of the ceremony.
Yeah. This is all lovely. All right, so mechanical stuff. We do need to move. I'm gonna move Zaya off the grinning ravens and put her under the specialist. God, this is odd. There she is now. And yeah, whoever picks her up in the next mission, remember, we do have to like formally like put the XP where it is, click the button, because you need to add like the 1 dot in anchor and a new specialist ability. Like technically we probably should have stayed as soldier and picked up more soldier special abilities, but this is I like this. This is great. Okay. We've got enough. We've got the fields out of the way. Let's get to the action. Let's start with who's going where, and we could go in several ways. We could have just said wait until we get to each mission to assign who, or we assign them all at once. Definitely, I do want to know who is going to reinforce the ramparts and the gates. I think it feels like as soon as like this ceremony's over, I think you hear like the flapping of wings, and the chosen just kind of like lands where at the head of the ceremony, and she just says in like a whisper that everyone hears, "They're coming," and everyone just kind of like, "Yeah, we need to go. Let's do this." So I want to know who is the specialist in the squad assigned to reinforcing the ramparts and the gates. We now have 7 specialists, which is quite frankly really good. Yeah.
It makes sense to me for Officer Zayevich to reinforce, to be in charge of the folks reinforcing the gates. Now, I don't know if what we're rolling is going to be a marshal or a rig or what kind of thing. But Zayevich does make sense to me if it's a commanding a force to do something.
Although I'll notice that, yeah, Brian, I don't know why Melslav has 4 in discipline. That shouldn't be there. So we should just reassign that dot somewhere else. I don't know why he has 4 in discipline. That's a bit of a mistake there. I'll let you do it since this is a long-term project thing and you're the quartermaster, so I think it's your purview. Brian, if that's okay, that you assign that dot. If we're down with Melslav, go ahead.
That is a dot. So we're saying that is a dot he's supposed to have, but it got put in the wrong place.
Yes.
We don't know if it was like, well, I guess, yeah. So it's got to be somewhere in resolve.
Yeah.
I guess if we're saying, is he using Marshall for this long-term project to coordinate?
Yeah. Especially like put it squads and the laborers.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. So okay.
Also, he's also has 10 XP to spend.
Yeah, so in theory, he could take the elite ability, although the timeline of when did he get that dot versus when did he get that XP?
Yeah, it's fine.
But it makes sense to put it in that Marshall instead anyway. I don't know, he got so many damn dots.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like, do we want to commit to Melslav doing this? Because then he won't be available for anything else. But the nice thing is, like, the whole add +1 die to engagement roll, we don't need it because none of this is secondary. We're all going to be playing out through these missions anyway, so we just like rely on lead skills to.
Yeah, he still does. I mean, he's got some nice abilities, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, and he seems like you're saying, he seems the logical fit for it. None of the other specialists seem particularly inclined towards building walls. So.
Sense. All right. So we're not going to roll yet. We're going to roll before each mission. But yes, Quartermaster, if you would kindly add a 10-step clock, 10-step long-term project for reinforce the gates. And yeah, we'll roll it right before. Actually, we can roll it now. Actually, since we're going to go into a mission. So you're going to add 1 die to each roll for each labor's squad the Legion has. Oh, what squad is going to be assigned to this?
I think this doesn't make sense thematically, but the Star Vipers works for me. If someone has a preferred squad, I'm very flexible.
The thing is, like, Star Viper is like, you only have 1 person there who's statted up, but they do have that dot in weave. We never really figured out what it does, but it could do something really cool, I assume.
Yeah. No, I mean, all I was going to say was possibly it would make sense to send one of the groups that are less fleshed out. So either the maybe the Shattered Lions, because I don't think we've really seen much of them.
Okay.
But that's that was my only consideration.
It's not a terrible idea to keep the person with weave just like alive and safe, because we do get extra points for having someone with weave.
Really?
No, if it's specifically if you can weave moonlight, which is like that's a specific ability
That's
that
different than having a dot and weave.
yeah, that's different. There's a specific special mission that lets you get a thing that lets you weave moonlight, which we didn't get to because we didn't go to that place.
Okay, didn't know that. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I'll say like he's the one person with weave, and we've not really seen what it does beyond because
Okay.
we kind of sprung up on us.
Well, I'm interested in weird magic stuff, so and I'd forgotten about that. So yeah, let's sub in the Shattered Lions, and then I have them somewhere else. Wolves, ravens, owls. Right. Okay.
Cool. All right. We give Chris like a few minutes to come back before we go into looking at this next mission.
I'm also going to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
Cool. No worries. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, the Shattered Lions. I don't even remember where this Viltori Kolayovna came from. Were they one of those who were gawking at the horses? I don't know. It's been a while. I think they were definitely like one of those squads that like, yeah, they lost a few. Or were they even I don't know. You're muted, David.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say, have you done like a write up for these quests, or I was just wondering for kind of taking my notes, but if not, I'll just note down what it is.
I'm probably like I've suddenly got a lot of free time for various reasons. I'm probably gonna spend like a day doing that because I quite like enjoy that because I'm curious to like where do these names come from because I know some of them. Like I know Islana there, one of the Star Vipers. She was one of the folks we brought to the Wolf Corpse forest. Um, but yeah, I'm probably gonna like spend some time writing up because like part of scoring is like we do have to look into like what special missions were done. So I'm gonna have to look back. Don't worry,
cool.
I'll do all this for final scoring.
No worries. No, that's cool. I'll just make a note now that it's the reinforcing the gate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. We decided to pause for like a few minutes, but basically, Chris, we've decided that Miroslav is heading up the ramparts, the reinforced ramparts, and we've assigned the least fleshed out squad to help him out, which is the Shattered Lions. Originally, it was going to be the Star Vipers because it kind of makes sense for their shtick, but like I have to point out that I guess Cyprian has a pointed weave, the only person with a pointed weave, which could be useful. Okay, so I want to ask, like, there's two ways we could go with this. We can, like, do a mission. We can assign who does a mission and then do it, or we can just assign all the missions now. Oh, yeah, because we got to decide what order we're doing them, I suppose. So I guess we should assign them now. Yeah, and look at the time. You might be able to do one mission and then just do the rest next week. Is that okay with folks? Because I don't want these to be, like, long. Immediately, once we do engagement roll, there's going to be, like, a clock. You fill it, you win. And the engagement roll will determine how big the clock will be, basically. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's go through each mission and then we'll decide what order and they will assign folks. So hold the lower pass. So it's actually decide now. You don't have to do this mission. It says it there. If you defeat a broken, you don't have to. But it does have an infamous attached to it. And the less infamous there is, the less like dice demerits you get with the final fortune roll. Because like you get a -1d for each infamous still alive. There are, and I'll say right now, I have assigned infamouses, I don't know, an infamous to each other mission. So I'm giving you all a chance to like polish them off because there's like 4 left. And yeah, there's still going to be some render folks here. They've kind of been folded into Blighter's group. But yeah, do you want to do this assault mission? Take out an infamous.
I mean, why wouldn't we want to do it? It sounds like it'd be great.
I don't know that we have sufficient specialists for that. For it, it might be that might be the big question.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, our chances of succeeding on all the other ones are much higher, I guess, if we don't have to spread ourselves as thin. Would
Yeah.
be the
It does say
argument
just
against it?
up to 3 specialists. So yeah, it doesn't say you have to assign 3 to it. It's just up to 3. You can assign just 1. And
Fair enough.
I mean, we could put Flood on it and just have him murder the guy from like a mile away.
I think that's totally reasonable.
I mean, legit, that's what Flood does.
So we've got a lieutenant on the final wave, right? So that's going to be the hardest fight.
Yeah, but the
We
lieutenant
might-
and the chosen are specifically going to be fighting it out. So you don't actually have to
Oh, that's
deal
right.
with the lieutenant. There will be an infamous there. I'll say right now. There will be there might be. I'm not going to say there will be in each one, but I want to give you all each a chance. But the lower pass is specifically the one that has to deal with an infamous.
Well, I would suggest, like, if we know we're going to have to deal with like a big nasty enemy unit, like a lieutenant or like an infamous, I would say like you got to put either Flood or Farah on those missions. Like if you're going to have one specialist on there going up against an infamous, I'd say probably Flood, because he has the potential to literally take them out. Like Farah can hold them, Farah can frustrate them, Farah can annoy the crap out of them, but like it's hard for her to literally take one out like Flood can.
And I believe sniper is one of the appropriate types for an assault mission, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Either one works out. So yeah, it's either Flood or Farah. Because the whole the second wave is it's more of a defensive mission, just to make sure that like just fight off a lieutenant.
Okay. Well, we've got 2 heavies now, so
Yes.
You do have 2 heavies now.
Okay. In that case, I will send Flood along with the Star Vipers. That's who I had on there. Okay, so Flood and the Star Vipers are going on that first assault mission.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah. Actually, I should also note these down. I know you have notes down, but like there should be multiple notes. It should be fine. Cool. So next one is Stop the Main Force. This is the Recon Avalanche mission. Assign 1 squad and 2 specialists. So it's not like up to 3. It's like there has to be 2 specialists on this.
Okay. I think in that case we want Scarlet Dancing Glade, and we can send Valeria on that as well, along with the Ghost Owls. I think the Ghost Owls work pretty well on a recon mission.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, cool. Hey, we can
Sorry,
see
what was that mission called again, Leandra?
Stop the Main Force. This involves climbing mountain passes and evading gundead patrols, which, if I remember correctly, Scarlet Dancing Glade and specifically the Ghost Owls have had great success before. They're the ones who did that recon into the Spitter factory that went idiotically well. It was so well. It's like nobody rolled under a 6. It was amazing. Yeah, that's where Rashi found those schematics. Sorry, I'm getting misty-eyed again. Yeah, so it's Scarlet Dancing Glade and Valeria along with the Ghost Owls. The next one is Assemble the Siege Weapons. This is like going underground to prepare the siege weapon positions on the cliffs above. This is another 1 squad and 2 specialists on a supply mission.
All right, so I know they have not been the best of luck for us before, but we're going to send the Ember Wolves, and I think we can send Zaya and Raya on this mission.
Oh, we finally get to see our poor scaredy boy Adramir in action.
Yeah, he's a soldier.
Oh, that means like because there's 4 of you, there's going to be like 1 rookie who's going to get their time to shine. Hell yeah. And the last one is Hold the Second Wave. It's fighting off a lieutenant and it's undead at the walls.
And I think we've eliminated everybody except for Farah. If anybody knows another specialist, let me
it's
know.
up to 3, so it's okay if just Farrah's the only one.
I think it's just Farrah. And let me see here. The Grinning Ravens makes sense to me. Let me see here. We've got a lot of soldiers in the Silver Stags.
But they're already
And
stressed.
they are stressed right out. But that might be fine. Like there's 2 soldiers who are just, hey, they'll be one and done. They get a little bit of stress.
So you can get stressed. Yeah, you'll need like a scene to recover, and we can be loosey goosey with that. It'll be fine. But like then the peril will be like trying to get them to a safe spot to like recover. Which if you want to play with those risks, I'm fine with that.
I think that would be that makes a lot of sense to me. What I would suggest, and this is more of a meta thing, we might want to flesh out those 2 rookies in the Silver Stags who currently are nameless and formless, just because Arun and Violet Dancing Wreath might be really short-lived in that mission. Does that make sense?
Just in case.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get there when we get there. So are we okay with the Silver Stags going in that second wave?
I mean, behind our walls is a good place to trauma out, right?
Yeah. You just gotta take care of the dead scaling the walls. It'll be fine. Let me look at the leftover infamous. Oh, God damn it, infamy. I don't know. Okay. All right. Sounds like just to run down again. Reinforced Ramparts is gonna be led by Melislav and the sadly underdeveloped Shattered Lions. I was telling David this. I don't even remember what Viltori Kolayovna did. We looked at the entire 12-session campaign. I probably find that out. Hold the Lower Pass is gonna be led by Silver Surging Flood, along with the Star Vipers. So there will be some last-minute rookies probably gonna be fleshed out. It'll be fine. Rookies get some fun abilities. Stop the Main Forest recon mission is going to be led by Scarlet Dancing Glade and Valeria Albrecht, along with the Ghost Owls, which has Rashi, Sylvan, and Sapphire Growing Wheel. If I remember correctly, oh yes, the one Legionnaire soldier who was not a fan of the Fire Mains. She was recruited. She was one of the new recruits from the Lake Cities. Everyone was fighting over the firemen. She was like, what's wrong with you people? Why don't we have guard duty? Assembled siege weapons. That's been given to Zaya and Raya, and the Ember Wolves. Redemption funny for Adramir, who in the very first session, the long lost first session, nearly gave away their position to the doctor. They had to be disciplined by Raya. So it's great. It's all coming together. Yeah, Raya was the one who had to discipline him. I remember this now. That was lovely because, like, yeah, you're trying to calm him down, and you're like, I might roll with Marshall, and they're like, yeah, you don't have any Marshall, and they're like, oh yeah, I calm him down, but more angrily. Okay, yeah, roll with discipline. That's what I vaguely remember. And hold the second wave is being given to our big tough Landgrave Farrah with the Silver Stacks. Sound good? Okay, so I think we have time to do one mission, and like I said, these are going to be short. They're going to be like 1 clock missions, and if an Infamous shows up, they're honestly going to be a separate clock, so it's going to be a bit of a balancing act if you want to take out the Infamous or do the mission. But so before each mission, we're going to roll the long-term project. Oh, does anyone have any questions before we start?
I'm just going to go and grab another glass of water quickly, but I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Back in a moment, but yeah.
We're at the top of the hour. Let's take 5, actually. We've gone
Sure.
through a lot of like character stuff. Let's take a quick 5-minute break. Since we're at the top of the hour, I want to pause recording. BRB. All right, welcome back. How's everyone doing? Just want to do a quick check-in. Everyone doing fine? Cool. Well, snap out this one mission and yeah, see where we go. Meantime, let me make some Viper sheets, editable, and showable. All players. One there and another one there. Okay, cool. So we kind of decided off recording to do them in order. So let's do the reinforced ramparts first. So basically it's a long-term project. So we're gonna like roll a long-term project, add 1 die for each labor squad Legion has, which is 1. I'm going to get since Brian, since you're the quartermaster, I'm gonna get you to roll Meleslav's Marshal. Which I guess it's more of a fortune. It's a fortune roll. Oh, hell yeah!
That's a 6.
That's a 6. I know the 6 is good. I'm just remind myself how many ticks on that. That's like here we go. Long-term project. So on a 6, yeah, you add 3 ticks. So what does it look like when the Shadow Lions and Miloslav start like building up the defenses, reinforcing the ramparts?
Yeah, I mean, so far so good. I guess Miloslav is. I mean, he's got like lead from the front, so he's very much. He's bossing everyone around, but also like just leading by example, jumping in, and if we need to, I don't know, rebuild this wall by carrying heavy rocks that have stones that have fallen out. He's getting in there, rolling up his sleeves and picking them up and putting them in place himself, and just doing. So far, everyone's I mean, no one's like rested. We've just been marching through the maw and gotten here, and then we're getting straight to work. But he's keeping spirits up, and everyone's motivated and working hard so far. So off to a good start.
Hell yeah. All right, so let's turn to Hold the Lower Pass. There's an assault mission. Assigned to it is the Specialist Silver Surging Flood, our sniper with the trauma bullet. What should we call that? The Crimson Seeker, known for killing the Vulture. Well, killing the Vulture first, for sure, and known as the one who took a shot at Render. Technically silenced Render, shot him in the throat, which was fab. And assigned to that are the Star Vipers. We know is Baronet Cyprian Zardani and the Slana Gabridiarovna. Oh my god. Great names. Yeah, so those are what we got. Who's taking who? Who's taking Flood is probably the most important part, actually. I see someone's already taking up a Viper rookie.
I mean, I can take Flood if nobody else wants him.
Cool. All right, Silver Surging Flood. If I remember correctly, Matt was like just starting on. Oh my! You can take 4 trauma, so technically you can like shoot this thing, and trauma out, and then like maybe recover after a scene. God.
You could also use the what the hell's that blood called? Curdled blood.
Oh yes, yeah. You still.
Oh no. Well, it says ignore penalty of maxing out stress, so it doesn't say trauma. It's specifically maxing out stress.
Yeah. Okay. Who's taking? Is anyone taking Cyprian? The rookie with weave.
I don't think I've been here on a Star Vipers mission, or at least.
Were you there when you went to Adularia to take out the Vulture in the church?
No, I joined after that. So yeah, so I have no attachment to any of these rookies or a soldier?
I was just, in fact, in the process, I was just going to roll up a new rookie because we needed one, and I'm always happy to jump in with a rookie. But
did you want to take Cyprian? What about you, Chris? What are you thinking of? You're muted.
Sorry. Had anybody decided to take Cyprian? I know David said he was making the new rookie. So no good.
I was going to say, is this the group that had a lot of stress, but it's not?
No,
So
it's the Silver
we haven't
Stacks
taken that one,
is the
yeah.
very stressed out one.
So we could, in theory, just use the 3 rookies that are already named. But
I mean, does anybody want? Is anybody like latched on to Cyprian? You want to play Cyprian? Okay, I'll take Cyprian then.
Cool. So for anyone who's watching this, Cyprian first showed up in the mission to go into the horrible blighted edge of the forest with the giant, majestic, mythical wolf that's been corrupted and the trees full of wolf corpses. He was also in the mission to take out the vulture once and for all. That's when he unlocked Weave and some weird god talked to him. It was either the moon gods or the crafter god. I forget which one I was going to, but
it was moon, I think. On his character sheet, it says moon.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I might have to ask to change that because in the fiction, the moon goddess is dead, or at least not part of this world. Because in the fiction, part of why the chosen of the Horn One became chosen is because she was a devotee of the moon goddess, who's chosen got broken and therefore severed contact with the moon. But we can change that. Like we can say that the moon goddess might be coming back.
We can just say that it's the crafter. Maybe it's another culture's goddess that is associated with crafting and the moon, like because they pull all-nighters while they're crafting. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right. Yeah, if you're fine with Cyprian, Brian, I guess you're taking any other rookie.
yeah, it doesn't look like Emrite or Isolana have actually been played. They basically just have their name and their heritage.
Emrite is the one that David's making. Isolana, she was only named in the mission. She nearly died, but yeah, she just got a name. She hasn't been played in the mission yet.
Okay, Emrite is...
All right, well, let me double check which infamous should be here. Okay. Looks like I'm just looking at the list. Breaker has some good, but nah, her infamous shouldn't show up here. Okay, all right, okay, cool. All right, so we know whoever's playing. We'll give you all a few minutes to either stat up some stuff or pick load. You're going to an assault mission. You know you're gonna be up against an infamous and their squads, and the goal is to hold them off, which probably means defeating them, specifically the infamous for sure. So it's gonna be a big one.
Are we using since it's an assault mission? Are we equipping Blackshot?
Quartermaster?
Yes, we are.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna need that against the undead. Oh, just to clarify, Brian, are you taking Islana or are you making your own rookie?
What's that?
Or were you taking Islana or are you making your own rookie? Because either way, it doesn't matter. But
I was going to just take Isolana.
Okay.
Might as well.
Mhm. Okay. Give it a minute or two. Sorry, I just saw like the new special ability you took for flood there, Dan. Sure, why not? Why not give him a mechanical eye? Or has that always been there? I don't remember that always been there. Has that always been there?
I did not click that. That's I don't know how long it's been there, but I did not.
Yeah.
I did not fill that.
Okay. Oh, probably someone picked that up when I remember Flood has been played a few times after Matt left, so someone probably did pick that up.
See, Leandro, I have a question. I'm reading through the the weave ability, and the only specific game use it lists is identifying whether something is an artifact.
Where? Hold on.
It's on page 304 of the book.
304. The thing is, like, we were kind of like meant to like talk through, I guess, what exactly it does. It says allow, but like
it says allow you to change the world around you, but it says
yes,
doing so is not without cost. And
yeah, so we'll probably like talk through like if you're gonna use it, like what exactly you want to change and what the cost is going to be to Cyprian.
Like thematically, you want to make this like the sort of go back and change it to the connection to the crafter god and have me sort of channel things in a sort of a crafterly direction, like just to flavor the weave a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
I'll make a note of that on the character sheet.
Okay. I have to think of like, should I go with that infamous or this infamous? Man, if you're up against a lieutenant, like I know exactly which one you'd be facing then if you have a crafter weave person. Yeah, it could be fine. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna change it up. Yeah.
People going heavy or normal? What are people doing?
I went heavy. Like I want this rookie to be able to like survive a little bit. I want to have some armor and shields to sacrifice.
But yeah, this is gonna be like a quick mission, hopefully. Is everyone ready? With load, whatnot. Okay. Okay. So let's go to the engagement roll. Let's do this, Marshall.
Okay. Everyone on the mission is oath-sworn to the Legion. That's one die. Commander, would we like to spend an intel on this one?
We ain't got no intel.
All right.
We know nothing.
Love to know it. All right. We have some rookies, so we don't get the veteran die. I don't think anyone has reason to distrust leadership on this one. We do have the required specialists and equipment on the mission. That's great. And we do want to equip Blackshot. And is any Legionnaire starting the mission wounded? I don't believe so. So I think pretty good. We got 2 die. And is Render's special ability still in play?
I'd say yeah. Yeah, it's tricky because he's not here, but like his ability has always been weird. The whole defiling use of that instill sphere. I'm gonna say no because you took him out. There's no way you'd still be scared of him because you very definitively took him out. So I'm gonna say no.
All right, that's a 2-die roll. No.
What do we get? Okay, cool. 4. So you start a risky position. So let's do like a quick, like we do the usual thing. You're going down kind of like the lower pass. I think this is happening, yes, simultaneously as everything else is happening. Some folks have gone off to the underground routes to get to the siege weapons. Some folks are setting off to the avalanche. I think you see, as you like head down the pass, you see this. I'll tease what the lieutenant is. You see this like massive conglomeration of like pipes and tanks chugging up towards the walls as like this gigantic eagle is kind of like gonna strike is flying down to meet it, and these pipes are like leaking horrible fumes. We'll get to that in the other mission. But I think you all are kind of like being sent down to like, yeah, the lower pass. So I think like as like I think the second wave has hit the walls, and you've kind of been sent out downwards to like make sure the second wave isn't being reinforced. So I'm imagining that like you're kind of like in this like foresty path, headed towards where the main road is going to be, where you can. Let me double check this infamous. Yes, okay, this infamous. Yeah, you can hear it coming from miles away because you hear what sounds like 9 people screaming and crying all at once in just like one big cacophonic choir of nonsense, and it's all like different languages, different ages, different like inflections, but they're all screaming at the same time. Let's do a quick round of like, yeah, what we see of each character as they're heading towards this infamous that's making their presence known. I'm like, yeah, what are they looking like? What's their demeanor like?
So yeah, I think we see Amrit Shani is a Barton man. He's quite small, but with that kind of agile look to him. He's got quite dark skin and dark hair. It's cut quite short. Although not much of that is visible because he's obviously wearing kind of the. In fact, I will. Yeah, he's definitely wearing winter clothing at the moment, given the fact it's quite cold out here, and he's got kind of like almost his entire face is covered in just a big long scarf that's sort of wrapped around his head, and I think that he's got you can kind of see he's definitely got that sort of look. He's very alert, very vigilant. He is paying attention, quite wary. I think he's also probably moving up towards the front of the group, kind of keep crouching down, moving through the undergrowth off to the side of the road as he's sort of scouting ahead.
I think you see Cyprian sort of trudging along. I think this is the first time we've probably ever seen Cyprian like fully kitted out, like heavy kit. So he's moving slower than he's used to, but you can still see him and I think we're seeing kind of the effect of that weave connection he's got, because like he looks like as he's walking along, and he looks like he's like doing equations in the air, like he's moving his finger around, like he's shifting things, and he's a little distracted. Like he's not like walking into stuff distracted, but it's like walking around like somebody that's kind of occasionally glancing at their cell phone kind of thing, and running one of those sort of idle cell phone apps where you're clicking every few minutes. Like he's always like, he'll walk in and he'll be paying direct attention for a minute or two, and then he'll like look off to the side or like up a little, and look like he's doing like some sort of calculation or abacus shifting as he's moving along. So you're seeing that sort of weirdness aspect of the weave that he's been working on, sort of slowly exerting its hold on him.
Cool. What about Islana or Flood?
I think Flood is, they reach a certain point and Flood says, all right, Star Vipers, you all stay together. You focus your fire. I'll be in the distance. When I get a clear shot, you'll know. And yeah, and I think he just sort of scampers off.
I would say like you're in a foresty area, so there's plenty of trees to like. Cool. In Solano, it's like the shot we see of her. Yeah, there's not much in her notes other than Zimyati know-it-all. I'm sorry.
Exactly. So I mean, I'll just take the cue from that and say, it's as soon as Flood kind of takes off, it's like, okay, I'm in charge, and apparently, and it's gonna go ahead and just take the lead. If no one else, if there's an opening.
Yeah, and I think like as soon as
all right, you heard him. Let's go.
I think like you only take like 5 steps towards like the wailing when here's where you're in a risky position, because you hear this like whistling sound in the air amidst all the crying and the screaming, and I think you just barely dodge it, but like a body has just been like flung through the trees and kind of like just lands like next to you, and then you hear like whistling sounds, and you hear like bodies being flung like towards you, and this body has kind of like smashed against the ground and it's burst into like pieces, but you can see that like leaking out from them isn't blood, but like this like viscous sort of sickly looking liquid. And yeah, you're gonna need to double tail towards and I think you hear like shuffling of trees, and the crying and the screaming is getting close to you, and you can see through the trees what's called a horror. I think we've seen some of them. They're freakish amalgamations of parts of different people stitched together. This one is like 10 foot tall. It's a big giant, so it's kind of like shrugging through, and it's got like this arm whose fingers are like made of other arms, and its other hand is like legs this time, which is horrific. So it's like a lot of bodies stitched together, and you can see that like almost kind of like oozing out all over it, and one is on its hand, one is like on its neck or whatnot, and this is like just a big lump of like stitched together mass where the head would be, but oozing out of it are like these heads, like 9 different heads. There's one on its left arm, and they're all screaming, they're all like crying, they're all just like shouting. There's also like spikes all over this like horror as well, which is what you've heard in the reports is what it uses when it wants to take other bodies for repairs. It just just stabs the bodies through its spikes. So this is the infamous known as Whaler, for obvious reasons, I guess. And there's an 8-step clock right there. Fill that clock and you beat Whaler. But I think the bodies are being flung around you, and Whaler is still kind of like in the distance-ish, and you can just see them and hear them coming. Some of the bodies are bursting open as they kind of like land, but some of them aren't. And you can see like there's some that are like trying to get up on like broken legs as they're pumped with like these liquids. So yeah, you're in a risky position. If it was desperate, it would have been much worse. But like when Whaler would be there. But yeah, what do you do?
I think we see like maybe the Cyprian sort of like pull back, like he was paying just enough attention not to get hit like broadside with that one of those bodies that got thrown in our direction. But now you see him like focusing, and he's like looking through the bushes and trees, like where that horror thing is, and it looks like he's like moving stuff around in his field of vision. But you can't tell what the heck he's doing. His fingers are just sort of darting back and forth, and he's nodding, like his eyebrows are going up and down, like. And that's kind of what you see him doing as he's back there in the trees.
Ooh. Yeah, it's just like a role you're making. It's like a research or serve or scout or.
Yeah, I think what he's doing would be like. I'm not sure if it would be like a research on a rig, but like what he's trying to think up, I think, is like he wants to figure out a way to see if he can effectively immobilize this thing for like a few moments, like to hopefully give Flood a solid target, a solid still target to hit. And he's sort of like calculating, okay, like we've got you've got the ground here. This ground is mostly like scrub and like some rocks and that sort of thing. This thing moves at this rate, kind of. And I'm not sure if that would necessarily would be a research at this point, or I don't know that he's doing anything yet. So research probably fits better than rig does.
Yeah, I'll go with research. I think it's gonna be the position's gonna be risky. If it wasn't Cyprian, it would probably be limited. But since we've established Cyprian is connected with some crafter god and he is like analytical like that, this is gonna be standard. And I'm imagining this kind of like a setup. This is definitely a setup action for anyone else who wants to do a thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cool. Does anyone want to assist?
Sure, I can assist.
How is Alana assisting?
You could keep me from getting hit by stuff.
Yeah, just keeping myself and my shield in front, just to so they can focus on whatever it is they're doing instead of dodging corpses.
All right, so take 1 stress, and Cyprian, you get an extra die. You want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain?
I don't know that I want to do either one of those things yet, because it looks like I'm going to have looks like I'll have 3 total dice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that puts me in good stead right now, and I don't want to burn myself up too much.
Oh yeah. Cool. So 3 dice, risky standard.
Ooh, that's a 6.
Nice. All right. So I think here's what you'll find when you like scrutinize as Whaler is making its way. You can see that like the spaces where its heads are like tightly wound, as if like there's a sort of vanity to it, being like, no, I don't want to lose these heads when the fighting's happening, because it's a great psychological effect as it's all screaming, crying, it's barreling down on him. But you see that like because it's wound, you see that like there are no heads where its legs are. All the 9 heads are kind of scattered around the body and the arms, but none on the legs. So you can see like they're not as tightly wound or as put together as like where the heads are going to be. And you can see that they would be like, if you want to bring them down to its knees, you literally have to go for the knees and for the legs. I mean, easier said than done. It's a 10-foot tall giant with a big reach, but you've got a bunch of marksmen there. So I think that's what you find out. And because it's 6, nothing bad's going to happen to you.
Okay, so I think as she's like doing this thing and Brian, what was the name of the rookie you were playing? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Isolana?
Isolana, okay. Isolana, as Isolana's sort of like shuffling him around to kind of keep him out of harm's way, he's mumbling and he's saying, okay, the legs are loose. The legs are loosely bound. They're big, but they're sloppy. Sloppy. There. That's we can deal with that. we can deal with that. Those aren't very well put together. Those will come apart with just a little nudge. And so you hear him mumbling that in his breath, and that's kind of how he's passing along that information that the legs are a vulnerable point.
If he's muttering this, it's like Solana hears it and takes the opportunity to shout that out to everyone else. if Cyprian's still just like mumbling under his breath. Cool. All right, I'll turn to Fudd or Amrit. Yes, Amrit. Okay, I'll turn to Amrit. So your fellow rookie has figured out stuff. Actually, no, either Amrit or Flood, whoever wants to do something. This is 6, so nothing bad's happening yet. Some bodies are like stirring near you, and some are like broken apart. Some are being smashed against the trees, but like nothing bad has happened yet. And Wader's kind of like make its way, and again, it's a lot of like screaming and crying. What do you do?
So I think that Amrit is going to sort of start moving around, sort of forward and around the whaler to sort of basically attempt to put himself on, at least on the other side of it, to where he thinks Flood is going to be positioned. And yeah, I think that he is going to sort of set up in ambush and lie in wait there, and essentially when Whaler comes into range, is just going to take a pot shot at him. I mean, he's going to try and hit him as squarely as possible, but mostly it's he's looking to cause some distraction for Flood.
Okay. All right. So what are you rolling?
I think I'm going to go with Scout, if that's okay.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, I figured either Scout or Shoot, but I figured Scout more for the actual just like kind of positioning and getting getting the ambush set up.
Okay, cool. Because like it was Shoot, we'd have to do the mask because Whaler's a level 3, and we're like, actually I want that. But if this is scouting, yeah, I think there's gonna be risky standard. Sounds about right.
Sure thing.
I think you. Actually, no. We'll save the setup action for when someone actually shoots this. I think the setup action is gonna stack then. It'll be fine. I think this is risky standard. For
sure thing.
And actually, yeah, this will add to Whaler's clock, I think, for sure, because you're gonna like discombobulate him, discombobulate it, but like distracting it so that Flood can take a shot.
Sure thing. I think I will push myself on this roll.
Okay. Risky standard. 1 dice. Anyone assisting? I think this is like.
I'll assist.
Ooh.
I think all that mumbling about legs are weak, legs are sloppy, kind of gives him kind of a direction to focus on any shooting he's going to do, remembering to kind of point towards the legs.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good.
Hell yeah. All right. Risky standard scouting. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's a 1, a 2, a 2, and a 1. That's amazing. Oh my god. Okay. Wow. That's amazing. On a risky roll, on 1 to 3, things go badly. You suffer harm. A complication occurs. You end up in a desperate position. You lose this opportunity. Oh hell yeah! You end up in a desperate position. Here's what happens. You kind of like move to like put yourself in position, but as soon as like before you can even like point your musket, like this body just kind of like just lands like right in front of you, not at you. Don't worry, you're not gonna get harmed yet, but like right in front of you before you can even move. This like rotter just kind of like looks up and I don't know if you were busy in Fort Callisto, Amrit, but like you can tell like the dress that this rotter has kind of like it looks like some of the folks were wearing in Fort Callisto, and it just looks up to you. And it's like half rotted. It's like half its face is like kind of like almost melted, and it just starts snarling. It's kind of like grabs at your musket and starts grabbing towards you. And it's leaking this horrible like fluid as well. You're in a desperate position now. We'll come back to you, Amber. Is that okay? Do you want to resist that? Actually,
No, I think actually I think that's cool. I think I'll see how I get out of that situation.
okay. All right, you're the only one in a desperate position right now. So, Flood, your squad seems to be holding up for Amrit and the other two. We'll get to them. But yeah, where are you? What do you do?
I think Flood is still sort of ranging through the forest, trying to find the ideal angle, maybe the ideal spot to take a shot.
Oh my gosh.
He hang on. He definitely saw his rookie sort of just get nearly hit by a corpse. He's been keeping an eye over his shoulder through the tree line, and but he's trying to. I think he's trying to follow that impulse to be on appropriate sides of the beast. So yeah, I think I want to say he's sort of trying to scout out an appropriate space to get a good angle on this thing.
All right. So what are you rolling with?
Scout is my inclination.
Hell yeah. I think this is a risky standard still. I think no one else is using Cyprian's advice, so no one's getting the increased effect from his roll. Everyone's still trying to find positioning. Yeah, risky standard. Are you pushing yourself? Or do you want a devil's bargain?
Tell me what a devil's bargain would be.
Ooh, yeah. I think the devil's bargain is not you, but the rest of the squad will put in a desperate position as more intact bodies land near them.
Ooh, that's tough. I don't think that's worth it. I don't think that's quite worth it.
You've got a decent scout. So.
Risky standard?
Yep.
I would like to throw an assist, if that's okay, by basically just being a big distraction. I think, at this point, Amrit is sort of fending off this rotter, and I think is not necessarily being quiet about it.
Perfect.
Cool. Take one stress. An extra die.
And here we go.
Hey! Thank God for that assist, because for anyone who's watching, Dan rolled a 1, and a 6. Thankfully. This is why assisting is important. As much dice as you can. Even though, 4 dice, oh my God, that's still ridiculous. Okay, so I think you find the perfect vantage spot. I think it's not far away enough when you can't assist, but it's clearly out of the range of whatever trebuchets or whatever siege weapons are being used to fling these rotters towards you. And I think you get a very good lay of the land. I think you see that Cyprian and the other Star Vipers in the Solana are they're not breaking. The rotters are falling around them, but they're more they're positioning as well. Amrit broke off by himself and it's kind of in a desperate position, but it is what it is. But I think the important part is that nobody knows where you are. You're safe where you are at the moment. Whaler has not spotted you. That's what the 6 gets you. And I think you get into position. And let's cut to Isolana because we haven't seen her do an action roll first, unless no one else has taken Cyprian's advice. So Isolana, you've kept Cyprian safe from the rotters so far. What do you do?
Yes. I think I see a rotter getting up in Amrit's face. I'm gonna load up some black shot and blast it.
Hell yeah. This is going to be risky great because black shot ups your effect. Rotters are level 1, so they're par to you. So it would have been a risky standard. Black shot puts up to great. And I'll say that'll add 1 tick to this Whaler clock. It's the less the squad is in danger, the more you have a chance of taking care of them.
What would be a devil's bargain for this?
What would be devil's bargain for this? I'm gonna add a 4-step clock called reinforcement. And once that clock is filled, it's gonna put you all immediately in a desperate position.
Lovely.
And this bargain is just adding the clock. I'm not adding any ticks into it yet.
All right. Sure.
Okay.
I feel great about it. This is great.
Yeah, that's not the worst so far.
This is going to go great. All right. I'm going to go roll. 6.
Hey! Hell yeah. So, yeah, describing what it looks like when you, like, save Amrit's... yeah, you save Amrit.
Kind of unmute. I mean, it's as dramatic as possible, right? It's just about to, like, leap and jump on, and then the blast comes from the side, knocking it aside.
Hell yeah. And Amrit, so yeah, you're no longer in a desperate position. I know you probably wanted XP, but we're at the end of the campaign, it's fine. Yeah, so you're clear now. And I think Whaler is like, they're taking their sweet time, aren't they? Damn these successes. But I think that gives like anyone like a chance to like react. I'm opening the field up again because we kind of went through a round of people going through stuff. And this is gonna add 1 tick to the Whaler clock. Let's add that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so yeah, field is clear. Anyone wants to do anything. Right now you're in a risky position, but you're holding your ground. I imagine the other Star Vipers are fending off any rotter that's or like just make sure to shoot them in the head before they can even get up. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I think at this point that Amrit is going to continue with his initial plan. Not in quite as good a position as he'd hoped, but I think as this rotter is shut off of him, he'll kind of push the corpse off of him, give Zan a sort of quick nod of appreciation, and take aim and attempt to unload a round of black shot into Blighter.
You mean Whaler?
Blighter, Whaler.
I was gonna say if it was Blighter, you're not even reach limited, even with all the help you can get, because you're a rookie. Okay, Whaler is. What are you rolling?
I think this is probably just going to be a straight up shoot at this point.
Okay, so Whaler is threat level 3. Are you aiming at anything in particular, or are you taking?
Yeah, I am going to take Cyprian's advice and attempt to shoot it in the legs.
All right, cool. So you're going to take increased effect. Level 3. You're using black shot, I presume.
Yep.
That would be enough to let's see. Level 3 would be limited. Enough to bring up the great, actually.
Excellent.
Which is fab. Cool. Are you pushing yourself, or do you want to take a bargain?
I think I'm going to push myself.
Okay. Anyone assisting?
Sure.
Cool. How are you assisting?
Well, if you're taking a shot at Whaler, then I'm just covering you. Pretty much the same thing again, just like making sure you're standing with my shield, so you're free to take the shot.
Sure thing, thank you.
This feels like what a know-it-all would do. I'm covering you, making sure you don't mess up. All right, so you get an extra die there. So that leaves you with 2 bonus dice. Risky great. Oh my god!
Wow, I rolled the wrong skill, but they're the same rating.
Uh-huh. All right, okay. Is something up with a roll 20 where my internet must be bad? It's I'm not seeing the numbers. I just know it's a critical.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can
getting
I can
this.
mouse over it and see what they are, but I don't actually see them.
Yeah, it's something's up with roll 20. Yeah, it's
So
a
it was
5, a 6, and a 6.
566. Yeah. For crit.
Okay. So crit. Oh my god. Let me double check what happens on the crit. Oh yes. No, I'm gonna say 5. Yeah, actually no. Let's say 4. Because great is like 3 ticks. So crit would be like 4. So wow. Geez, we got him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Jesus Christ. So yeah, what does it look like when you shoot Whaler? It's brittle knees.
Yeah, so I think the black shot load hits it in the knee, and it's I think it's obviously something to do with like the way this thing's been created, the sort of condensed evil that has been used to like hold all of this together. It just sort of like explodes out in a bright burst of like white fire, as this the black shot just sort of combusts on contact with this sort of ichor that's flowing through it, and shards of like bone and flesh fly out of its knee, and I think he probably staggers a bit.
Yeah, I think it falls to its knees, and it's like that was like a stand up, and the crying gets louder. It's unbearable. It's like it's around you now, but you can tell. Yeah, it's cries of fear, but you can tell it's not like a psychological effect now. Now it's actually afraid. Um, ooh. Let's turn to Cyprian. What do you do?
I think at this point, you tell me if this is an appropriate spending of that weave dot, which I think basically like seeing as Cyprian watched how that the black shot affected the structure of that knee. I think like they're sort of crafting insight that they've received from Nyx, the god of nighttime crafting. It's like that terrible, terrible work, sloppy work doesn't deserve to survive. And I think, like, just as a special effect, I think they pull out their musket which is loaded with black shot, and like they hit the other knee, and basically bring this thing down to basically, it goes down to knee. I mean, it can still keep moving forward because it's huge, and even the knee, even just going along on its knees, is still dangerous. But like all of a sudden, it's now a even better target for flood, and that would be how I spent the weave dot.
I think.
Now, I think doesn't that give me some sort of like corruption or something when I use it?
Yeah, here's how I spin out, because you get great rewards but great risks. It means that any action against Whaler is going to be great effect. I think, but the cost is you're going to take a blight, not corruption, a full blight.
I'll take it. I'll take that right now.
Yeah.
Do I go ahead and pick one of these?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna go read through those right quick, and while everybody else follows up.
Yeah. So you're all set up now, Flood. Whaler is like down on its knees, and its crying has become pitiful. Like, actually, no, it feels pitiful, but no, the heads are crying for deliverance. They're not crying, but they're yelling. I think part of like Cyprian kind of like unbuckling, like like it's design. It's like suddenly these heads are like they know their time has come. They know they're about to be released from all this torment. So actually, when they're crying, you can hear them not necessarily cheering you on, but just like do it, do it, do it.
So I think Flood had gotten out his crimson shot and was just about to open a vein to bring forth the blood that fuels this powerful bullet, and then he sees an explosion underneath this monstrosity, and then another shot, and suddenly the thing is on its knees, and it sounds almost pitiful. And he put that one away. Just gonna take, it's just a standard black shot, I guess, and he is gonna aim very carefully. while his troop has this creature distracted and pretty much wiped out. He's going to spend, I guess, we'll say two uses of aim to up his to increase his effect a couple steps.
Well, I think it's already a great effect. Thanks to what
It's already
Cyprian
great.
did. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Then I think he's just gonna take a shot. He'll push himself.
Yeah.
And he will line up his sight on the highest head on the massive mound of flesh, and take a shot.
Oh yeah, this is risky. Great.
You want an assist? Because I'll throw an assist at you. I've still got some stress.
I love an assist.
And I think the assist is basically like you can hear. You're not sure why, but your ears are super good because you're Panyar. You can hear that that mumbling from Cyprian has gotten louder. It says, now the head in the chest. The head in the chest is the one. That's where it all comes together. That's where all this weaving is centered. Head in the chest, right in the chest.
Okay, and hearing that the Panyar lowers the muzzle of his rifle a little bit down to the chest and squeezes the trigger.
Yeah. Imagine if we've not gotten a 6. That'll be an amazing.
Yeah,
Because you're rolling 5 dice, but yeah, that's a 6. So yeah, I think. How does Whaler come apart when you take that shot? When you hit the head, how does he just splinter into? Yeah.
I think it's component pieces. I don't know if these are held together by stitches, like physical, like sinew stitches, or what. But whatever material is holding these, portions. I'm about to have to X-card myself. This is getting a little gross. Whatever material is holding them together sort of starts to dissolve from the top down, and a piece will fall off here and then here and on the other side. And after a few moments, it is, it's just a big pile of gore.
Maybe it's like the central part kind of starts breaking apart. Maybe there's some parts of it that the central control of them slips away, and they actually some limbs start pushing themselves off or ripping themselves off.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh my god.
It starts fighting itself. It's like they stop cooperating.
For some reason, I'm remembering a very specific Doctor Who episode now, and I don't want to do that. Yeah, I think here's what we're gonna do, because we've wrapped up the mission. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do XP. Let's do this. Let's imagine we're taking this Legion to another campaign. Let's still do the XP, and then I'm gonna ask each of you all one last shot of each soldier, and then after we've done that, maybe a hint of what's happening in the other missions. It's kind of from your perspective of this squad in the trees. So let's do XP first. That's okay. So, nice thing is a lot of y'all are just rookies. So, everyone marks 1 XP if you survive the mission. If you brought into play your heritage or traumas, that's fine. If you don't, these are short missions. So if you did it, then it's perfectly fine. 2 XP if you did both. Per threat of the highest threat opponent on the mission, it's 3. So you get 3 XP. And Flood, did you help your squad through keen observation or key shots?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you had the big key shot. And for rookies, scroll past them. No, where is that? Here we go. Did you help your squad by staying out of the way or surviving despite the odds? Cool. Yeah, take that XP. All right. So yeah, what's the last shot of Flood and the Star Vipers as we kind of like, as they almost kind of like take a breath, um, right as everything else is happening, as you probably hear like battle is happening out in the distance.
So I think kind of we see Amrit kind of back up a little bit, probably reloading his musket and scanning around for further rotters and stuff coming for him. But I think as he gets back to the group, he's just going to give do one of those big kind of like hand clasps with Isliana, and thank her for having his back.
I think you see with Cyprian, he's like, as he's walking back, like you can tell like that little like thing he's doing, like that's getting progressively worse. Like he actually does a couple of times like walk into things. And the muttering gets, is occasionally like cryptic nonsense. And sometimes it's, and sometimes it's like understandable, but most of the time it's just him muttering cryptic nonsense, as though he's looking at a schematic for something that nobody else is looking at.
Yeah. What about Isolana or Flood?
Islana, I think Islana is now convinced she wants to become a sniper. Because you maybe see her as being like, well, that went okay, but unfortunately, the other squads don't have Flood with them, so I'm a little worried about them. We need more snipers.
Nice. And Flood?
I think Flood makes it back to where the unit has joined together and says, we completed our assignment. You know what that means. Free range harrying. We can go out and just shoot whatever we want for as long as we want. It's free time. Let's go.
Don't want to waste any of this black shot.
Yeah, I think actually I was gonna ask if each of you detail what's happening. I think I'll just give a tease because we're kind of a bit over. Whaler is dead, or undead, more dead. So the noise has kind of stopped, so you can hear everything else. I think with the noise, because you're quite close to like where the walls are, where it's happening. I think what you hear is like a lot of like clockwork grinding, a lot of like just mechanical ticking and noise and just this machinery. And then I think you hear an explosion in the distance. And I think we'll wrap there. Oh God. I'm excited. That's been a great start to the end. Let's see where we go next week. It's like you hear in the recording, like everyone's doing fantastically. Just jumping in and out and wrapping this all up to like this epic conclusion. Like I wasn't afraid that the Legion was gonna get hurt or anything. Y'all got this on lock. It'll be fine. But yeah, we'll see. I have an idea for like one big like session, like epilogue, because I don't want this to be like the last thing we see of Flood almost, but like we'll see. We'll see what happens next session. But almost kind of like, because we still have next session and we still have another Sunday, the last Sunday of March. We might do like a big like sort of epilogue to see how we go next session, because like missions aren't as short as I would like to be, but we'll see. Now we have less setup to do next time. See if we can run through the rest. But okay, I'm gonna stop recording. Thanks to everyone who's watching. Yeah, goodbye YouTube.